Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 9 of What If Naruto Was Sent to the Highschool DxD universe. It's a story about Naruto gets sent to the Highschool DxD world during the fight with Kaguya. Also check out previous parts of this What If, link is in description. And I have created a playlist for this What If, where you can find all the previous parts, check that out as well. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content, it really means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And also check the description for the creator of this great fanfic, and support them for making this fanfic. So let's start this video. It all made sense now. It dawned on Yusaka. I was like cold water had replaced the blood inside her veins. Human. Breach. How. Borderline. Unique abilities. Sacred gear. Naruto. As her mind ran these possibilities, Naruto had somehow managed to beat her to it. I repeat, Naruto had managed to somehow beat her to it. Human faction. This is bad. With ultimate class devil speed, she got in front of Naruto's face. Sapphire blue orbs almost popped out in realization and impending doom. Yusaka, it's not what you. A flame-covered hand grabbed Naruto's face. The heat was searing. His skin hissed as slender digits dug into it. His feet dangled in the air. Incredible force pushed him off balance. Boom. Kunu saw her mother appear beside her all of a sudden, and a blink later, her fox ears were ringing. An impressive gust of wind emanating from beside her flapped her kimono in a will manner. Dust filled her vision and an eerie chill went down her spine. What in the time it took to regain her wits and turn her head sideways, it was as if the cloud of dust was just an illusion. Kakasan had face slammed Naruto, head first into the hard floor, creating an uneven crater stained with blood. Naruto wasn't going to recover from that without Kurama. He could, but it would take a while. I want this traitor imprisoned. I'll execute him myself. The loving, soft-spoken mother Kunu knew was an alien compared to what she was seeing. This wasn't her mom. Thus was the leader of Kyoto talking. The revered and feared Kyuubi. Flashback end. Boom. Naruto blinked in confusion. Was it an earthquake? Naruto narrowed his eyes in annoyance at what his blue orbs was seeing. A barrier. How did I even get here? At close proximity, Naruto couldn't sense the armies of devil, angels and fallen angels anymore. It was filled with humans and the faction leaders. Naruto leaped on a roof opposite Kyoto Academy. Might as well watch them fight. For the first time, after moving to Kyoto, purple and black bled into Naruto's blue eyes, and Naruto's, now heightened, vision pierced through the dome. The eyes of Samar really earned its place as the greatest Taijutsu of all time. Though, the red and white dragon emperor are facing off. All the Bijuus opened an eye inside the seal, interested in a fight between two Jinchuriki of heavenly dragons. They're no Jinchuriki per se, but they are close to one. Looks like the white bats betrayed the crow. Boost. Divide. Haha, these guys are perfect counter for one another, and that white one can expel excess energy. Do you think he can divide chakra-based attack? Jayuki asked. I don't know. It might work, it might not. Naruto watched them throw themselves around. That stupid brat. I taught him the Ninja Academy Taijutsu for a week, and he's already slipped back to his burlesque fighting. Yay for me, all the more reason to punish him. Naruto couldn't hear them, but he could surely read their lips. Azazel said something about Volley's shrinking boobs, and Naruto felt Issei's powers increase significantly. Boobs? Really? That's your power-up? That boy must never ever meet Jiraiya. Naruto chucked out loud. That would be a total disaster. Kurama had a sense of humor after all. The fallen angel's missing a limb. Joe may notice. Naruto didn't notice that at all. He scratched his temple before rummaging through his pockets, searching for a chocolate bar he bought. Something's coming. Naruto felt it before he saw it. He watched as a person with a monkey tail with a long staff, blast his way into the dome, landing hard beside the white one. The Yakuya. Let's give him a test, shall we? What are you thinking, Naruto? What happened to animosity? Let's have some fun. Inu. Tori. Sir. Hitsuji. Nostalgia hit Naruto and a smirk graced his features. He stood up and slammed his hands on the rooftop. Black seal ran across its edges. Naruto intentionally pumped chakra into the seal, more than necessary. Ninpo. Kuchi Snow Jutsu. Proof. A huge plume of smoke appeared covering Naruto's entire form. What came out was a chameleon. Not your average chameleon, but a huge-ass chameleon which Naruto could ride on. Though the shinobi was standing on its head. With the smirk still present, Naruto mentally commanded chameleon, and it followed its master's will perfectly. Like all chameleons with the ability to blend in with its environment, it blended with the rooftop completely, and it was like Naruto, and the summon was never there. And Kuo. The high tier beings present, including Biku and Volley to a lesser extent, all snapped their head towards where they thought they felt something. Looks like our will be postponed to another time. Until then, become strong my rival, and give me the fight of my life. Those were the so-called white bat's words before he vanished with Biku. Well, that went well. Azazel said. Nothing went well, you have a broke arm. Issei. You're alright. The students rushed to Pervy 1. Their words of concern drowned out as the leaders gathered together. Ollie defected. Penmu said dryly. I knew that boy couldn't be trusted. We were suspecting a human, but it turns out Volley had me played. Azazel laughed out loud. A raised eyebrow from everyone made him explain what he was saying. I knew he was working with the Cows Brigade, but I didn't know his allegiance was with them. He's just going through a phase. Azazel tried to subtly defend Volley. Penmu shook her head in disappointment. The leaders suddenly tensed, and even the students could sense the tension in the air. Show yourself. Surziches entered mayor mode, followed by Michael, Azazel, and Ajuka. Those three were the only ones who managed to see the wind pushed by an invisible object. There's nobody here, Issei said. Surziches conjured a magic seal, and out came a member of his peerage. Saji Akita. His attire consists of a traditional Shisengumi uniform, which consists of a haori and hakama over a kimono, with a white cord called a tasuki crossed over the chest and tied in the back. He was the fastest member of Surziches' peerage. Search around the pair. Saji had already disappeared before Surziches finished his orders. You felt that too? Azazel asked Michael, who replied with a nod. Someone was watching us. Ajuka concluded. Someone very good. Where's? Surziches wanted to ask Issei a question before he stopped. Never mind, I forget you two are neighbors. The leaders instantly knew what was going on in Surziches' head, and they all disappeared in high speed except Grafia and Serafol. Bijuus-sama, I need a magic circle to Hyoto-kun's house. My house? Issei asked. His parents were in. We need to confirm something. Serafol said. With Naruto and Saji. It's hard, but I can still sense him somehow. He's still here. Saji unsheathed his sword and slashed the thin air. Whoa, that was close, and he's really fast. Naruto was bubbling with excitement all of a sudden. He jumped off the chameleon and took off at the opposite direction of his house and dispelled the summon and performed a henge on himself. There. Dakota followed suit. Both henge Naruto and Saji became blurs. As they raced past the streets of Kuro, Naruto glazed behind and was happy to see that Saji could keep up. All Saji could see was a blue and red blur running at impressive speed. They both raced towards a clearing with Sajo left alone in the center. I don't have all day. The knight tried to lure Naruto out bored of the chase. Naruto snickered at where he was hidden. Let play little bat. Koku, juice me. Naruto ordered. Son, lava for added effect. The Bijuus couldn't help but groan. Naruto was pulling a prank. On all of them. They inclined for the heck of it. Naruto started releasing a constant stream of lava from his shoes, and Koku boiled his chakra. Swish. Naruto tagged Saji, who to Naruto's surprise tried to slash him and almost succeed before the transformed blonde ran away. They played this game for a while in the clearing. This guy's toying with me, Saji thought. I'm gonna make him regret it. The knight calmed his nerves, breathed in and stood still with his sword raised over his head with both hands. Oh, he.s. getting serious. I'll reward him. Zoom. Naruto shot off at incredible speed, running circles around Saji. Naruto laughed, but it wasn't his voice anymore. It belonged to the character he hanged to. Saji frowned at the weird laughter. It sounds familiar somehow. Gotta go fast. Naruto spoke. His speeds doubled. The winds picked up faster, and the heat became unbearable. Lava gushed from the circle Naruto was running around, and closed in on Akita in all directions. By now, you all must have known who Naruto's henge was. Blue and red blur, gotta go fast. Saji's eyes switches violently, and his magic did the same when the blur spoke. Don't mess with me. Saji, who rarely lost his cool, had rage etched on his face. His magic followed suit and burst forth from within him. Bringing his sword to the side, he tensed his muscle and bent forward before running a complete 360-degree turn at speeds matching Naruto's. He released a huge wave of energy from his sword, blasting the incoming lava and trees away. Naruto, still henged, got caught in the technique and froze mid-air just enough for Saji to see him perfectly, before letting out cry fritzing out of existence like it never existed in the first place. Saji's eyes twitched badly with different tick marks appearing on his face. Grah. He screamed to the night sky with pure anger and humiliation. In Issei's neighborhood, four figures blurred into existence opposite Issei's house. Surziches shifted his gaze to the house beside Issei's. The lights were still on. They reappeared in front of Naruto's house. There was this feeling to the house. A good feeling. Surziches knocked on the door. The door clicked open, and out came Gaia. One of the most beautiful women they have laid eyes on. Oh, hello. A cold chill went down their spines when Gaia spoke. Who are you? The leaders couldn't speak, and they didn't know why. Her presence just commanded total respect. How may I help you? Sorry, wrong house, ma'am. Surziches managed to say, before he had to pat her. Gaia, who's? Naruto pooped out from behind the door, and left the sentence hanging when he saw four people in his front door. Oh, Governor Crow, how did you know where I live? They had a bead of sweat rolling down their cheeks. This was a tight one. I just got a job at Ku Academy, and I saw your file, Azazel lied smoothly. Oh, I see. I'll look forward to working with you then. Naruto said and went back in. Please come in and have something before you go. Daria beckoned them in. Thanks ma'am. We're fine. Ijuka finished. Have a safe trip home. Daria sent them off with a smile and shut the door. Daria saw Naruto on the floor laughing so hard tears were streaming from his eyes. You're something else, Naruto. That woman. Azazel began. Let's not talk about her. Surzichus cut him abruptly. Surzichus felt Saoji's magic rise violently before it all disappeared. The Maru summoned Saoji back with a magic circle expecting to see an unconscious body with him. Who was it? Did you see his face? He asked. An out-of-characteristic look was on the knight's face. He was angry, and he was staring at the distance avoiding eye contact. Did he escape? I killed it. And it? Michael asked. What was it? Ijuka asked. Saoji gazed into Ijuka's eyes. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. He answered with a grimace. Try me. Azazel wanted to know who it was already. It was. The magic circle interrupted Saoji. Is he in? Seraphil asked. Yes. Azazel answered. The students finally grasped what was going on. Was Naruto the eavesdropper? I want to meet him. Azazel grabbed a hold of her arm. Don't go there. But, not today, Seraphil. Trust me, you won't like it. Surzichus said. It wasn't him. No. Michael gave Seraphil an answer erasing all doubts for the eye minds. So who was it? Azazel laid emphasis on it. It was. The prison door creaked shut as Naruto landed roughly on the cold concrete floor in a heap. He slumped on the ground and let out an exhausted sigh. Naruto was giving it his all. He was trying his hardest to keep cool, because snapping in a situation like this would do more harm than good, and the confined space he was in wasn't helping. Of course, Naruto could have escaped if he wanted to, but he needed to prove his innocence one way or another, and the main factor behind that was Kunu. She was like a little sister too, and the mere thought of her labeling him a traitor felt sickening. Naruto sat on the floor feeling helpless. As he heard hurried footsteps of brave Yokai soldier rushing to battle. He should be among them. Curse his hero complex. But this was his fight. They came for him. Naruto told it all to the nine-tailed leader, and managed to reduce her anger. But her suspicion was still there. Everything hurts. His seared face, Yusaka's distrust, the hero faction's latest stunt. The hero faction. How Naruto loathed that organization. This was like Konoha invasion all over again. You want to prove your innocence? Stay put. Yusaka's voice echoed in his brain. Naruto sat tailored-fashioned, and willed his eyelids shut. As he placing both palms face up on each other and for the first time in months, he could sense Chakra's signature running around. Yusaka's stood out the most. As she was drawing energy from Kyoto itself. It was very similar to Senin mode, but this one absorbed spiritual energy, an enormous amount of spiritual energy. Naruto's eyes snapped wide open when he sensed Perseus' life force accompanied by 4 others fighting Yusaka and Genryu, whose signature was moving away from the battle at a rapid pace. His eyes widened even further if it could. As an out-of-the-world signature entered his senses. They were lifeless, black without form or shape. As they stormed the gates of Kyoto mixed with a fair number of humans. Naruto frantically searched for Kunu's signature, and his blood went cold when he sensed her location. Kagebunshin no Jutsu. 3 clones sitting cross-legged appeared in the cell. As the original Naruto flexed his chakra and broke the weird suppression seal on his chakra. And the door, before he took off at amazing speeds. In the front lines. Yusaka rolled over a huge fist from a huge monster. As it unearthed a huge portion of the soil. The shadow beast had the likeness of a huge one-eyed ogre equipped with a huge spiked club. For now, she's managed to reactivate the barrier. Thus stopping the huge number of shadow beasts from entering the capital, and she ordered an evacuation of all citizens near the battlefield. Genryu left the front line under Yusaka's orders to keep her daughter safe. Give up and let yourself be captured. Leonardo, the wielder of the Longinus tier sacred gear, Annihilation Maker, spoke as he watched her struggle against one of his creations. Leonardo is a dark-skinned young boy, with purple eyes and grey-blue hair. Yusaka spared a glance at her childhood friend, who was stuck with 2 human with blue eyes and blonde hair. Golden eyes flashed with anger when a certain blue-eyed human flashed through her mind. That treacherous bastard will be hanged as punishment for his sins. The shadow's greatest weakness is light, she said, as she released a massive stream of fire from her hands, setting the horrendous creature and its brethren in a blazing inferno. Leonardo walked out unscathed out the fire, shaking his head in disappointment. Shadows appeared from Leonardo's feet, and it extended and grew 5 times the height of Yusaka. The shadows broke into 5 parts. As it took the form of the giant ogre she set ablaze, but this time, it was as if they were covered in mist. A black liquid substance trickled from their bodies. As they charged forward, Yusaka threw a fireball proportional to their size which erupted into a curtain of fire. As it smashed into the charging creatures, she had little time to react. As the first one burst through the flames slightly charred with its legs, swung backward for a devastating kick. Thanks to her small and nimble form, she was able to propel herself at the ogre's head. With her fist covered in golden flames, she punched the monster right in the face, sending it back at its creator. She suppressed a smirk as the massive shadow flew back at its owner. "You wide open," Leonardo said, as he straightened an arm forward and absorbed the oncoming monster, retreated back to his shadow. A huge palm slapped Yusaka away, making her release a short cry of pain as she bounced off the floor. "Yusaka," the blonde Nico called her friend in worry. She made haste forward, but a thin stream of light stopped her courtesy. LaFay Pendragon. She wanted to go assist her friend, but these two blondes were in the way. A skilled swordsman and a powerful magician was a handful for her. "Hang tight, Yasuka, I'm coming." In Kyoto. "Kunu-sama, where are you?" Jinryu screamed as he raced across the desolate street of Kyoto. The smell of blood filled the air. As he ran around, houses were toppled, and massive shadow monsters roamed the streets, eating the corpses of women, children, and men alike. He searched frantically, pushing his body past its limit. As he searched around for Kunu, he fell to his feet in pure defeat. As he saw Yusaka Fox form, something he was honored to see once in battle, fall to a two-headed eastern dragon. It coiled around her form, and one head lodged into her neck, and the other opened its mouth wide open, and charged up a purple orb. "Mother!" A high-pitched shriek emanating from behind the Yokai general toward the air, a voice he recognized well. He whined. As Kuna ran past her, her kimono stained with so much blood he couldn't recognize it anymore. Jinryu fell face first to a head of dirt, with the thought resonating with the despair he felt. "We lost. Jinryu." Jinryu heard someone call his name. Though he was hearing things, but an nasty pain in his face tore him from the illusion he was placed in. "What's going on?" he said as he opened his eyes. He winced as his memory caught up to him. He raced across the street and spotted Kunu alone before a human ambushed them. A fight ensued. His opponent was quite skilled, but when he slashed him in the face he grew ballistic and activated his sacred gear, and from there, Jinryu blacked out. And now he woke up feeling a searing pain on his cheek. "Thank goodness, I thought you were dead." Kunu spoke with relief present on her face. Bruises littered her body, and a tiny stream of blood was on her cheeks and her temple. "You little beweening misery, you wall-walking trick saved you, ha!" Marcillo, a black-haired man with black eyes dressed in a suit, held his face as he glared daggers at Kunu. "I greatly underestimated you, little child. Your mother must have been captured by now." Jinryu stood and put Kunu behind him. "What is the motive behind this?" Jinryu asked. "Well, we have two motives actually. The first one, to kidnap the leader of the Yokai faction, and the second is a termination order of one Naruto Uzumaki." "What do you want with my Oni-chan?" Kunu spoke up behind Jinryu. "Naruto? What's the relationship between them?" The Yakuya general mused. "That bastard is pain in the ass that needs to be removed. An S-class threat to the hero faction. So he wasn't a traitor, the whole thing was a big misunderstanding. What he was running from caught up to him." "Kunu, I want you to run towards that building." Jinryu pointed at Naruto's location, where he believed Naruto should be, in prison. But it was all a gamble. With Kunu out of the picture, he should be able to fight more efficiently. But she tried to argue, but Jinryu cut her abruptly. "Kunu, I know you can make it. I believe you will one day lead Kyoto to greatness." Jinyu's strong words drew a tear from Kunu before she took off. "You'd better come out alive." She stopped for a second at the entrance of the building. "That's an order. Now, how did he put me under an illusion?" Jinryu wondered as he took a sword stance. Scene changed. Naruto raced across Kyoto full speed, running towards Kunu's signature. He quickened his pace again when he sensed Jinyu's signature stop, and he gritted his teeth as Kunu's signature left the scene. He landed on the ground roughly and raced across the land before he stopped when he spotted Kunu. "Oni-chan," she cried as she embraced Naruto. "Kunu, are you alright?" He knelt and inspected Kunu's form for any injury. He didn't have Tsunade Sakura's mastery over healing, but he was able to heal the bruise and tiny cuts, which was most of her injuries. The little Kyuubi felt a warm sensation wash over her, and her fatigue disappeared. "Jinryu, he's fighting a strong mean human. He said their orders were to kidnap mother and kill you. So it's a kill order this time." "Kunu, take me to Jinryu," Naruto said as he scoped her little form. "With Jinryu, you're really strong for a human." Jinryu commented, Marcillo breathing hard trying to regain his lost strength. "Not bad for a yokai." Marcillo complimented Jinyu's prowess. Jinryu was having a hard time due to his illusion-based abilities. He attacked from the shadows, a master stealth, something Jinryu had little counter for. "This shit has gone on for long, it's time to finish this." Balance break, Pair Serene Utopia. Marcillo trapped Jinryu in a barrier space where he can control a person's perception of time and block people from using their powers to a certain degree. As he influenced them, lulled them into a fake reality. Marcillo walked out of his hiding spot. "It's time to go find this Naruto guy." Marcillo barely took 2 steps before Naruto appeared 10 feet away from him. Marcillo knew he was the one instantly. Perseus was right, his presence was almost non-existing. "Where's Jinryu?" Naruto asked with a frown. Genyu's signature was flicking in and out of his sensors. Naruto Uzumaki, I finally meet the famous Naruto Uzumaki. I'm famous? Naruto asked. But of course, you're a big celebrity in the hero faction. Marcelo stated with a sneer. Genyu is somewhere around here. Naruto walked around a specific place pacing back and forth in random motion. What's he doing? Marcelo wondered. Guess I'll have to beat the shit out of this guy and make him return Genyu somehow or... The Genin's thoughts trailed off when he suddenly thought up a crazy plan. He commenced his plan with a mad dash at Marcelo, engaging in a quick taijutsu battle. Marcelo ducked under Haymaker and pushed Naruto's incoming kneel away. He tried to sweep the blonde boy off his feet, but the shinobi narrowly dodged the leg that would have surely swept him off his feet and delivered 4 lightning-fast roundhouse kicks at Marcelo's upper body. The member of the hero faction blocked Naruto's brutal kicks with his forearm and countered with a 2-open palm thrust to Naruto's stomach, sending him skidding back. Naruto tottered backwards as Marcelo's flying kick connected with his chest, and from then, Marcelo released a flurry of consecutive kicks and punches, which Naruto found hard put to counter. Naruto's advanced Sage Mode precognition. Something's wrong. He shouldn't be able to keep up with me in a taijutsu fight in Sage Mode. Boy, I'm really angry right now, so spare me the effort of beating your ass to the ground, and tell me where you sent Genyu. Naruto said, taking slow steps forward. You notice? That's impressive, but I'm really disappointed. Marcelo shook his head and with shut eyes. You're not what I expected. Why are you holding back? Show me the power Perseus spoke of, or can't you? Naruto got serious and performed a wind shunshin to Marcelo's blind sight, a blue spinner bowl in hand mid-swing. It's too late. Marcelo said from behind Naruto as he kicked Naruto away. Naruto spat out blood when he was launched forward. And he was pretty sure his spine was fractured from that attack. The Rasengan spun lazily in his left hand as he stood up. What the? Naruto's blue eyes widened when he took a glance at the Rasengan in his hand. It was small, too small. Think of Boruto's weakest Rasengan. Naruto dispelled his father's technique and charged at Marcelo with Jonin-level speed. Marcelo weaved around the Uzumaki's attacks like water and seeped through his assault, landing some of his own. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. 3 clones proved beside Naruto. No way, there was supposed to be a mini army of shadow clones behind him, but all he got was 3. There's something fishy going on. What did you do to me? Naruto glared at his opponent, earning a chuckle from said opponent. I commend you, Naruto Uzumaki. Out of them all, you were the only one to have ever noticed something was wrong, but now, it's game over for you. Your defeat was inevitable right from the start. Marcelo's voice took on a strange quality. The black-haired man jumped away from the spot he was standing and snarled something out of the air, a kunai from a clone's sneak attack from underground. It was like he knew Naruto's clone would pop out of the ground and throw a kunya at him. It was fun fighting you, but now, it's over. Marcelo turned his back to Naruto and threw the kunai back at him, sending it deep into the shinobi's stomach. Tell me, what is your greatest nightmare? Marcelo said before Naruto's pupils shrunk to the size of a mustard seed. Naoju-chan, didn't your mother teach you not to play hide and seek with strangers? Marcelo yelled as he searched around for Kunu. This mission was going far easier than expected, and it could go much smoother if the little fox would have just let herself be captured and spare him this foolish game of hide and seek. Come out now, and I promise no harm will befall you. He tried to coax her, but he didn't get a reply. Tick off, he tries again. If you won't come out, I guess I'll just have to kill those 2. He threatened, and still the little Kyubi remained silent in her hiding spot. Kunu had both her hand over her mouth, shit scared to her bones at her hiding spot. She was upside down on the ceiling looking at Marcelo's head. As he searched everywhere for her, her heart skipped a few beats every time he gazed up, but thanks to the illusion she casted over herself, she was able to stay hidden. That wouldn't last much longer because she was running low on chakra faster than expected. The tree walking exercise took a lot out of her, but Naruto told her she will get used to it in a few weeks. The distressed girl tried to even her breathing lest Marcelo find out her location. The communication magic circle appeared around Marcelo's ears as he relayed information to his comrades. I have the subject under capture. Commence Plan B. Marcelo spoke as he inspected the seemingly empty building. That was pretty fast. Plan B isn't going smoothly as yours did. After all, she's on the level of an ultimate class devil. A female voice replied. This could end swiftly if we use her daughter as leverage. He proposed. No. That's despicable and it's an insult to our capabilities. The person on the other end disagreed. I don't give a rat's ass about your sentiments, Lafay Pendragon. I'll do anything for Cao-Cao-sama. Marcelo caught the connection between them, irritated by Lafay. Kunu made a huge mistake letting her focus slipped when she heard Marcelo's words. The stream of chakra she supplied to the sole of her feet to stick to the ceiling fluctuated, and without something to hold, gravity pushed her back to the ground. Found you, Ojo-chan. Marcelo screamed like a little child, having a moment of eureka in a hide-and-seek game. Kunu dropped from the ceiling and made for the door, but stumbled backwards when her face hit Marcillo's midsection. He cleared the distance between them in an instant. Marcillo squatted beside the little girl, as if he wanted to check her body for any injury. "You one bratty kid, Ojo-chan," he said. "Why are you doing this?" she asked, as she scurried away in fear of the dangerous man. "Naruto Uzumaki killed someone from our organization, and you know killing is bad, right? So, we have to punish him." Kunu didn't believe that for a second. "You're lying. Why attack a whole faction, just to get one person?" Kunu yelled vehemently. "Come over here, and this will be over in a minute." Marcillo grabbed her kimono and lifted her on his shoulders. Kunu slapped him, screaming at him to unhand her, to let her go, but "Stay still, you little brat." He screamed at her, when her fingers tore through the fabric of his clothes and into his skin. The blue magic circle appeared underneath Marcillo, and he vanished a moment later. In the front lines, multitudes of yokai, humans, and shadow monsters fought in a fierce battle. The yokai defended their home against the intruders, trying their best, but some of those shadow monsters were smarter than they look, always adapting and evading their tactics, and their numbers far exceeded the defenders, but the army of Kyoto held strong. Their leader was outside of Kyoto, battling the mastermind behind the assault. The best they can do is to prevent these monsters from entering Kyoto. In a field miles from Kyoto, troublesome woman. Leonardo spat in annoyance, as Yusaka took down his creations. Leonardo, a member of the hero faction, whose sacred gear is Annihilation Maker, asked as he waved. A dozen of shadow monsters tried to catch Yusaka, but anyone that got too close got burned up. Annihilation Maker, a top-tier Longinus, allowed him to create anything he can imagine from his shadows, and what's next? He could create a special type of creature called anti-monsters. "Perseus, you've been quite disturbed recently," he said as he recreated the shadows Yusaka destroyed. The plan was to wear her out with a continuous barrage of shadow monster, and move in for capture. Perseus had his sight on the burning gates of Kyoto, and the chaos in the distance. It felt wrong, killing innocent people just to get to Naruto, but he believed in Cao Cao's vision. He jerked his head at Leonardo, who was having a hard time fighting Yusaka. The other blonde Nico Mata was on her last leg, with Arthur and Luffy teaming up, but the star of the show, Naruto Uzumaki, wasn't here yet. "Is all this bloodshed necessary?" Perseus asked. "They wouldn't give up their leader without a fight, Perseus. I don't like this, but it's necessary," Leonardo said as he kept conjuring more shadow monster at a rapid rate. Marcillo emerged from under a magic circle with Kunu on his shoulders unconscious. Objective A accomplished. He spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. Perseus' eyes whitened at the news. "You captured Naruto?" he asked. "Yep, and this little girl was a bonus for me." He dropped her limp body to the ground. Fear gripped Yusaka's entire being when her eyes landed on an unconscious Kunu. "Kunu?" Yusaka screamed. A terror-filled scream managed to wake her daughter up. Kunu shook her head and blinked twice to rid the drowsiness and blur in her vision. She glanced around the unfamiliar space filled with unfamiliar people with trepidation, till her eyes landed on Yusaka's horror-filled face. "Mother," she cried, tried to free herself of the binding magic placed on her. "I'm going to kill you if a strand." Yeah, spare me the empty threats. You are in no position to do that. In fact, it's the opposite. Please, let my daughter go," the leader of Kyoto begged. Marcillo knocked Kunu unconscious again, when her incessant struggling ticked him off. "I'm going to kill you for that." Yusaka bared her fangs. "Like I said, you're not the one making threats here, I am." The bad man placed a foot on Kunu's body. In Kyoto prison, 3 clones paced around the cell arguing back and forth. "What do we do?" Oyanbu's signature disappeared all of a sudden. "I'm afraid." Clone 1 stopped to yell all of a sudden. "Stay calm, the original isn't dead yet." Clone 2, the calm one, said. "He must have been sent to a different space." The third clone proposed. "A different dimension." Clone 1 screamed rhetorically. "This is bad, how are we going to save him? We only know of a single space-time jutsu." Serves him right, he should have drowned his enemies in despair when he had the chance. Clone 3 didn't look worried at all. In fact, he sat back on the floor, and started running circles on it with his fingers bored to his mind, completely ignoring the fact that his sole existence depended on the original. "How could you say something like that?" Clone 1 grabbed Clone 3's shirt. "Unhand me, simpleton," he said impassively. "Fighting won't solve anything, guys. I know the original is in danger. He need us." Clone 2 pushed them apart. He should have launched a large-scale attack on their base, but he kept running away like a pussy. Clone 2 said. "You wanna go?" Clone 1 raised his fist again in defense of his creator. "They're just a bunch of humans, how hard could it be to kill them?" Clone 3 said, brimming with arrogance. "We're humans too." Clone 1 retorted. While both clones argued back and forth, the first clone's words struck a chord deep within the second clone. "Human." The second clone trailed off. The second clone took 2 steps forward and slammed his palm on the floor. "Please work," he mentally hoped. "Nintendo." The second clone screamed. In a poof of smoke, the original Naruto and Genryu on his shoulder appeared instantly. Boy and you. Good work guys, I couldn't have got out without you. Naruto complimented the trio. The third clone yawned and poof out of existence, and the memories of everything that transpired between the clones and excess sage energy hit Naruto. What are you going to do? The second clone questioned. I'm going to save everyone. I wouldn't let another invasion happen on my watch. The memories of Kano had turned to rubbles flashed their minds. The remaining clones nodded at Naruto, eager to prevent something like that from happening to another country under their watch. Heal the wounded, and help them any way you can, the original ordered. Bosu. They both fist pump. I'm going to the front line. It's time to end this. Naruto bent his knees for a massive leap. Naruto's takeoff created shock waves as he traveled a long distance with a single bound. Naruto's enhanced sight caught a mass of humans in black shadow thingy trying to breathe the gate through. Some had already breached in, and the Yokai army were struggling to repel them. Some have even breached into the city. It wasn't something too big for his clones to handle. Naruto's touchdown created a little crater on the ground, circuiting the attention of the Yokais behind the front lines. Kyuubi-sama. A high-ranking fox Yokai called out when he turned around to see what caused the disturbance. What's the status? Naruto had the aura of a general around him when he spoke. Our best fighters are in the front lines fighting, but some enemies slipped past. Yusaka-sama is a bit far from the front lines fighting the powerful ones. Alright, you've all done well. Naruto took steady steps forward. Do you have a plan to lead us to victory? I can spare a few men. The yokai conferred. Don't worry, I'm going to finish this in an instant, Naruto said confidently. In an instant, he repeated, but Naruto was already gone by then. Thanks for listening. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. And also check out the playlist that I have created, and enjoy. Link is in the description. See you in the next video. Peace.